You guys saw it. I know most of the 3.02T guys are probably like, oh my gosh, get the hell out of here. There's no way he's out here losing. There's something wrong with his turbos. The tune must be crappy. The 3.7 must be shooting nitrous. Get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Okay, guys, so let me briefly explain because you guys are going to jump to it. Number one, the 3.0T is the 300 horsepower variant, okay? Now, before you guys jump to, oh my God, it's not a red sport. That's why he lost. No. He is tuned on ECU Tech. And when you're tuned, doesn't matter if you're red sport, silver sport, premium, or luxe, you're going to put out the same wheel horsepower, guys. It's the same turbos. It's the same turbos, okay? It's just that the red sport just has the optical sensor. The motors the block is the same, just the turbos are still the same, just the optical sensor is different on the turbos, okay? Number one. Number two, this was an all-wheel drive 3.0T with lower downpipes, I believe, and CATBACK exhaust and intakes. Hopefully he comments below. He might not want to because he took an L. But on top of that, he was on 93 conservative tune, and I'm not going to put the shop out there from what they said. I'm not going to bash the shop, whatever. You never know, I might want to do business there. But anyways, on top of that, he had a passenger, he was on 93. Now, let's go talk about the 3.7. 3.7 is a full bolt-on. He's about 3,500 pounds wet. This is without driver. And he also had a passenger too, to be fair. And he's tuned on 93 aggressive tune. Now, most of you guys are going to sit there and say, well, why is he losing? Like, why is this 3.0T losing? How can a car that puts out almost 500 pounds of torque and 400 wheel horsepower lose to a car that's only making like probably 330, 340 to the wheels? And half the amount of torque. Well, let me briefly explain. Let's start with the twin turbo dyno. Okay, put that picture up. Boom, that's it. Now, if you look at the dyno, right, most VR30s, no matter if they're red sport, silver sport, luxe, or premium, no matter if they're tuned JB4 or stock tune, no matter what, that the wheel horsepower always taper off. Repeat, always taper off somewhere right around 5,000. After 5,500, you're losing wheel horsepower. You're just diving right down. That means that these cars are putting out a little over 400 wheel, right on 5,000, and it drops down to like 350, maybe even 330. It's fast as boom. They just can't keep up. The turbos cannot continue to make a lot of power after that fact on 93 pump. If you're on E85, you usually keep your wheel horsepower up there. But for majority of guys that are tuned, stock tuned, JB4, this is what we have to live at. Now, we're not talking about dig races here. We're talking about road races. So road races, you're going to spend most of your time in 5 to 7 grand. Okay, this is RPM range. This is what was most likely going to happen. On the 3.7, gearing is pretty much the same. But they make most of their wheel horsepower all higher and higher range. They rev the snot. Repeat, guys. Rev the snot out of their cars. I miss my VQ37. Rev that girl. Especially when you get a tune and you go bump it up to like 8 grand, 8,200 RPM. Like, wow. So these guys are putting out 340, 350 well. And they're keeping consistent wheel horsepower at a higher range. And that's what's dope about it. Now, most of you guys are going to sit there and say, well, if you look at their dyno graph, boom, this is the 3.7. You're like, and you compare the both, you're like, it still doesn't make sense. Well, there's also something called weight reduction, and he was rear-wheel drive, so he doesn't have the drivetrain loss from, he doesn't have the drivetrain loss from the all-wheel drive, even though it's road race, and he doesn't have the excessive weight. Yes, he has a driver to make it fair, but he's still probably 400 to 500 pounds lighter than the 3.0T, period. You gotta give it to him. I gotta give it to him. He ran 12.8 at 110 rear-wheel drive with tire. So most of the time, rear-wheel drive cars are not gonna do that great from digs, especially not V6s. But on road races, they're gonna do so much more better because they spend most of their time at the higher RPM. We just don't. We just don't. So yes, 3.0T took an L in this one. I'm not mad about it. I got a 3.0T. I know the guy's probably gonna get tuned more aggressively because I know I'll be pissed off if I got a full tune on a twin turbo car and a V6 tune beats me. Just understand, guy, yeah, he was lighter than you. Most of you guys might talk about aero and drag coefficient. That's really above 140 miles an hour. This is a race from 40 to 100, 110 in Mexico. Come on, guys, let's be honest. So, yes, I want you guys to understand your VR30s. I want you to understand that if you're 300 horsepower, 400 horsepower, red sport, if you're JB4, if you're tuned, you will lose power after 5,000 RPM. Yes. So that's why I still sit there and say dig races only. Digs, digs, digs. Period. Do digs in Mexico all day, every day with your cars, guys. Rolls, it's going to be hard for you guys to keep up. So some of you guys are going to briefly ask, so how can I keep my car at above 400 wheel horsepower through 5007? Well, guys, the only information I can tell you is check this card out here, and that's the 500 wheel horsepower Q50, and he's on full E85. All he had, it has his high pressure, low pressure fuel pump, and lower downpipes and an aggressive tune on E85. That's it. Period. E85, you can hold that wheel horsepower range for a lot longer. They can adjust the timing a lot better because the fuel is better, so they can keep the timing up. Period. So they can keep the wheel horsepower. 93, you can't do it. It starts to knock at higher RPM. All right, guys. So all in all, yes, 3.0Ts, we took an L in this video. It is what it is. 3.7s, I give hats off to y'all. Hats off to his tuner. Hats off to him as a driver. I know it's automatic, but still, at the end of the day, you gotta give it to him, man. I think he said he also had leak in his test pipes too, so that's actually pretty bad. That means his AFRs are probably a bit off. But otherwise than that, hats off to him. Hats off to the 3.7 and 3.0Ts. Just know where your range is at. All in all, if you watch this video, like it, hey, hit the like button. If you dislike it, I understand. Leave your comments below, please. Y'all gonna probably bash each other 3.7s and 3.0Ts all day, every day. You can contact me on boostinmotion at Instagram and boostinmotion on Facebook. Made this video a bit long, but otherwise than that, guys, I appreciate y'all very much. Check out my other videos in the cards here, and check out the ending screen and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Have a good day.